Yeah, we're really looking forward to hosting the Big Ten Championships this Friday. This is what we train for. It's the start of the postseason. Both our men and women's teams, really get excited about competing postseason. It's obviously the men are defending champions. Going to have a great race. Michigan are ranked ahead of us. If you believe in the polls, then they should win. But as defending champions, we're not going to let them just come in here and take a championship away from us. On the women's side, it's a real tight race. We think we're in with a really good shot. Michigan State did beat us at the Nutty Como Invitational 2 weeks ago, but again, we're at home. We're looking forward to a great championship on Friday.
Questions for Coach? Coach, what's the biggest difference between the Nutty Como Meet, which you had, 22 ranked teams at, compared to a conference meet like the one we host on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, out at Nutty Como a couple of weeks ago, there, as you say, 22, 23 top 30 teams. A lot more competitors, 270 competitors in that race. Can very, very easy to get lost in the mix. Friday with, it's 12 competitors from each school. We know all our competitors. We race against them almost every weekend, particularly during the indoor and outdoor season. So we know who the main players are. It's easier to focus on the main players. It's easy to focus on your team. At no point are you not going to see your teammates, and you're going to see the big players from the other team. So it's a different feel.
I know last Friday you rested a couple of your top guys. What was the rationale in that?
I guess going into the week, we saw the forecast. We knew it was really going to tear up the course. We got a couple of guys that we wanted to save for this part of the season. This is when it matters. Bob Lycan has been very good at this meet, at the Nutty Como Meet, for last 2 years, 5th and 4th and 6th, I believe. Two-time Big Ten cross-country champion, and it's just one race that I felt he didn't need to show his cards. Our lineup this weekend will be a different lineup than you saw at Nutty Como for sure.
What kind of advantage do you get having a championship meet at home?
Today we have individual meetings with our team, as we do every Monday, and we talk about, we know every corner, every blade of grass out there, although we did get torn up pretty badly after Nutty Como, but you know the tangents, every bump on the course. There's huge advantage. Obviously, if you were out there for Nutty Como, the crowd, we had a huge crowd despite the weather, and I think we're going to get a good crowd out there on Friday. They're our fans, and the kids get up for that, competing at home.
Coach, what's it mean to have this series of championship level races here at home for the team, and just how they can mentally prepare?
Yeah, again, you're at home, you're sleeping in your own bed, you're not traveling, and the wear and tear of travel very often can, the accumulation, it's not so much right this minute, it's when you get indoors, you get outdoors. So, we can go out to the course on Thursday, come home, sleep in our own beds, we're going to have a team meal, and again, it's just the excitement of being on it, being familiar with the course, being out there. We train on it at least once a week, and so we're going to use that to our advantage, obviously.
We know there's some really strong contenders on both teams. Who's been surprising you in really stepping up this year for both the men and the women?
Well, it's so early in the season, certainly for the men. Jackson Sharp obviously had a great run at the Nutty Como. That was some of the best distance runners in the country were there, and he did a great job. Obviously, Bob didn't run. Adam Spencer hasn't run yet. He went deep into the summer on the track. You know, there's a lot of our guys. Micah Wilson hasn't ran much. Rowan Ellenberg and Evan Bishop are a real steady Eddie for us all the time. You can, just talking to Rowan this morning, like he's the most dependable guy out there. And you know, on the women's side, certainly Leah and I has done a great job. Daniel Lowry's been good. Lexi Wesley's been really good. And we're going to need them to be really good up front. Match Michigan State up front on Friday. And then we're going to need the other women to be great, you know, supporters.
Can you talk a little bit about the women's team? And I know you talked about Leah and I and how well she's been doing this season, but you also have people like Lexi Wesley, who has been a consistent performer for you. Can you just talk about what the depth of the women's team looks like going into this weekend?
Yeah, unlike the last couple of years, you know, we've been pretty good 1 through 5. But I think we're pretty deep 1 through 7 this year, and that's certainly going to help, especially in the latter part of the race. We know we have to do a better job over the last kilometre, 1 or 2 K. We've been really good through 4K in the last 2 races, but we're at home, and that's the message we're sending our women. They got to believe that they can win, just like the guys. They go out there, Big Ten championships, they believe they can win. They've done it so often. And we're trying to get the women to have that same mentality. We're at home, you know, take advantage of running at home, but also be very strong for each other, and particularly over the last 2K, which has kind of been our Achilles heel the last 2 races. But you know, that's the one message that we're giving them, and then we got a shot.